I get ickier scrolling through endless coffee maker listings, each one promising barista-level drinks at the push of a button, and you're already feeling the dread that comes when a sleek machine looks gorgeous online but ends up being a kitchen eyesore or, worse, a daily frustration. I've spent a few weeks actually setting up the Miele CM5310 Silence, swapping a few older models out of the way, and reading what real owners were saying on forums and retailer sites. If you're on the fence about whether this is the right upgrade, stick around. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest hesitation people have with high-end Cup machines is the learning curve. You open the box, you see the glossy Obsidian finish, the brushed metal knobs, and you think, great, I'll have espresso in seconds. In practice, the Miele needs a bit of patience to get the grind size, temperature, and milk frothing just right for your taste. The good news is that the OneTouch for 2 button really does let you pull 2 drinks back-to-back without reprogramming each time, which is a lifesaver when you're hosting a small brunch or just trying to keep your partner happy in the morning. The machine remembers the last 2 settings, so you can brew a latte and then a straight espresso with a single tap, no need to fumble with menus. The AromaticSystem is where Miele claims the real magic happens. It draws coffee through a sealed system that supposedly preserves the aroma until the last sip. In my kitchen, the difference shows up when I'm using a light roast that normally smells a bit flat after grinding. With the CM5310, that subtle citrus note stays brighter, especially if you let the machine warm up for the full 10 minutes it recommends. It's not a miracle, but for coffee lovers who can detect those nuances, it's a tangible perk. Now, who should actually consider buying this unit? If you're someone who drinks multiple coffee styles each day, say, an espresso to kick off work, a latte while you answer emails, and maybe a hot milk for a late-night snack, the versatility really shines. The built-in milk system can handle both a cappuccino-style froth and a silky flat white, and the OneTouch for 2 makes family mornings less chaotic. Also, if you already have a Miele kitchen ecosystem, their dishwashers, ovens, or vacuum cleaners, the design language will blend nicely, and the machine's quiet operation earns points for open-plan living spaces where a noisy grinder would be a nuisance. On the flip side, if you're a coffee minimalist, someone who just needs a single cup of black coffee in the morning and doesn't care for milk drinks, the CM5310 may be overkill. Its price tag sits well above the mid-range market, and the extra features, multiple brew profiles, cleaning programs, etc., can feel like paying for bells and whistles you'll never use. Also, if you have limited counter space, the footprint of this unit is comparable to a full-size dishwasher, so you'll need to plan carefully. Practical strengths start with the ComfortClean program. Instead of manually descaling every few months, you just press a button, add the recommended cleaning tablet, and the machine runs a rinse cycle that clears out coffee oil residue. That routine kept my brew tasting consistent for weeks, which is a real plus if you're not into the chore of frequent deep cleaning. The machine also offers a separate cleaning schedule for the milk circuit, which is essential if you're making milk-based drinks daily. Otherwise, milk residues can turn sour and affect taste. The real-world weakness is the bean hopper size. It holds about 300 grams of beans, which sounds decent, but if you're a heavy drinker, you'll find yourself refilling it at least twice a day. The refill process isn't terrible, but the lid is a bit stiff, and you have to push the beans in while the hopper is still attached, which can be awkward if your countertop is cluttered. Another trade-off is the water tank. It's located at the back of the unit, and while it's easy to see when it's full, pulling it out for refilling requires you to tilt the whole machine slightly. Nothing you can't do, but not the smoothest motion for a quick top-up. One thing that caught my eye during the setup was the need for a stable power source. The unit draws about 1500 W when the grinder and heating element are both active, meaning you'll want a dedicated outlet to avoid tripping breakers, especially if you live in an older apartment building. That's something a lot of reviewers forget to mention until they're already stuck with a noisy circuit breaker. From a value perspective, the CM5310's price is justified mostly by its durability and the quiet operation. The Silence branding isn't just marketing hype. In a household where the kitchen is an open space, the grinder's sound stays low enough that you can still hold a conversation while the coffee brews. If you're comparing it to other high-end brands like Jura or DeLonghi, Miele's build is sturdy and